Yay. Alright, cool, so we're back. Hopefully that should be working. How are you doing, Turning Cog, if you're still here? Found you! Hey, Deb. How's the game going? It's been a while. It's going. I'm working on an object container system similar to SC right now, where we have. It's not helping that we're both kind of in. Oh yeah, I see what's happening. Yeah, it's been about a month of kind of delay. I started a new job, so I've been working. Trying to get into the you know, the habit of things. I think the last time I was here, you were making the inventory system. Yeah, that's pretty much still kind of where I left off. So what I'm working on here, if we look, let me just observe. So see how this whole world here is spinning around, and like this little shuttle that I'm on is actually moving around the world. So I'm inside the ship, and I can kind of see everything that's around me, and you know, it's all flying along. And what you're seeing on the right side is the other player, only just the perspective of what's really happening. So what we have here, it's not fully implemented, is kind of like a separate place where physics are done statically. So like this player, even though like I appear to be inside a spaceship that's moving around and twirling and going upside down and doing everything that it needs to do, my physics, if I run around and try to get out here, you can see I'm actually banging into these walls that that aren't really there on the like the actor version of the spaceship. So I can kind of run around and kind of, be inside another ship, and it all kind of works. 1 second. What's wrong, puppy? Are they only there like server side? That is the idea. Yep. Is they won't be rendered. The physics areas that the physics players are placed into are not streamed into the client, and they could be nested. Is the idea. So when when we're in the real world, like the pure 64-bit world, like space, 0G, without being inside a zone, which I'll demonstrate here. Notice that, like, when we're in the same space, everything is synced. So see on the left side, see how there's a little shadow. I've made like a silhouetted version of the player. So that's the simulated, physical version of the player. And the white character is the character actor. So the actor is the player that's kind of placed really in the real world, the wherever in 64-bit precision you want the player to physically be. But they, but they're, whenever we're inside a zone, all other things inside that zone are simulated, within it. So to demonstrate, and we can't see the players when I jump in right now, and this is a very terrible spline that I created. But if I jump in here, you can see that I'm inside this physics zone, and I can look over and see the other player. And everything that I'm doing inside this is stable because it's statically simulated, right? And as we go, in a more nested fashion, from zone to zone to zone, because they're hierarchically kind of supported, I can change the way the influence of physics is applied to other zones. So if there was a ship, and that ship has a kind of real version of itself flying around, but it has like a physics zone, I can still take some of the forces that are applied to that rigid body and simulate them on all the entities that are inside the zone. And it can be done on a fractional level, like very minute. So that way, the idea is to make sure that all physics simulations that are happening are stable. And as you increase the speed of ships, if we're talking more than, I don't know, maybe like 200-300 meters per second, even when you get into jolt, you start getting into, just issues with having to do interpolation, right? If you're doing like interpolation and you're inside a ship which is moving at a certain speed, and you're trying to figure out how that interpolation is going to be kind of applied, where you are per frame in a spaceship moving at 1 billion, meters per second, it becomes very inaccurate. So, challenges are trying to break things down as best as we can to simplify them. And stations can pretty much be simulated as their own zone. And then, all of the NPC nav mesh, aspects of things can also be simulated, right? Like because you're really splitting up the entities. Like the actors don't have any collisions on them. They're just a node, right? They're a node with a mesh. They have an animation player, animation tree. They have everything. They have the visual aspect of a player. Well, it's the same thing with an NPC. You can still split an NPC into an actor and a physical, simulated version of itself, and you wouldn't really lose anything. You still have to load in that NPC graphically and load the NPC, and you still need to simulate it. So they could be two separate game objects, right? One that are, ones that are kind of more so on the back end, but represented on the client nonetheless. So that's the idea, right? Then you can have stations that are spinning in the world, you know what I mean? But inside, all of their NPCs are static, right? You can have, more stable nav mesh, the static nav mesh oriented movement, but have it be applied, more dynamically, right? So, and there's obviously different challenges. There's a dozen ways to do this kind of stuff. I think this is the easiest way to tame Godot, right? Jolt is. I think by the time I get into more final aspects of the game, Jolt will be integrated by default, and I'll probably give it a go. But until then, I don't feel like I really need to go down the Jolt rabbit hole, because I think a lot of this stuff can be done on their own. So right now, like, we're not, like, my character is up there in the. Let me. Why is escape? Don't make escape. Quit. But I want to take a break from the inventory system. The inventory system needs a lot more work on the netcode side, and I'm like, this is kind of an important aspect. Like, I can easily make it so if the ship is stopped and you get into the seat, you're good. And gameplay wise, if we're gonna lock the cargo grid when the ship kind of powers up, the object containers themselves are not really going to be a problem. And it's very similar to, like, station. Like, if the stations are not upside down and they're just normal, we don't really need object container type systems integrated there either. It's just one of those wish list items that fundamentally help scale things. Especially when you're in FPS combat, and you're in FPS combat inside something that is supposedly simulated, like you're in a ship fighting, but the ship's moving. Cool. Not long ago, I switched to Unity to make my space game from Unreal because the network was awesome. But I'm starting to switch over to Godot, but there's the node system and GD script is causing me a hassle to learn, but that's the goal. Yeah, Unity is still, like, very rough to work with for a space game because you're rebasing. In Unity, if you still go more than 15 kilometers away from the origin, you're in trouble. Rendering starts falling apart. It becomes very complicated. I know Infrenzia, who's one of my favorite Blender artists for teaching Blender. A lot of the stuff I've learned was from Infrenzia, and he makes a ton of Unity assets on the asset store and sound packs. Some of his space planets are really good. You've probably even seen them. And he's recently switched from Unity to Unreal just to be able to get over that 64-bit precision issue that Unity still has. So yeah, no. Godot multiplayer is good. It's good to learn low-level networking, to some degree. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. All of Godot's multiplayer is built on top of LightLib. Or LightNetLib? What's it? I have been away for so long that I forget. Where's my fork? Hang on. GitHub Revere. Hang on. This one. Yeah, so Godot's. Okay. I'm pretty sure it's LightLib. Where's the commander? What is it based upon? Enet multiplayer peer is based on Enet. Although it is more than just ENIT because it's not all just UDP. Yeah, maybe it is just based on ENIT. Yeah, let me, where's whirling? I'm not sure why many think the node system is so different. It operates the same as any like object. I think it's the it's the fact that you can't attach multiple scripts to one game object. And like I think people are used to just throwing all these components onto one game object entity, and and then you're good. I write everything in C# because I had to port my game over from right, like from Unity. So this is my test project that I whipped up just this month. But I won't touch GD script. I just don't have time to. And I love interfaces. Interfaces are amazing, right? Because I have a character body character controller, and then I also have like a player, which is like rigid body based, but they all have the same interface. When exposing like Transform 3D, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I didn't find much difference. Like, you have this ascribed to a lot of your events by default. Like we have an area 3D, which is a trigger, right? So instead of like creating a collision and defining whether it's a trigger or not a trigger, in Godot you have a static body 3D or an area 3D, and instead of having default on trigger enter, on trigger exit, you subscribe your own delegates. So you subscribe your own, functions, right, to these things, and everything else is the same. Like, you could even call them the same naming convention. You cannot attach multiple scripts to one game object either. You can attach multiple script component nodes to like Godot. Like, technically, you can't even attach a script to a game object, unlike Godot. You cannot attach multiple scripts to one game object either. You can attach multiple script component nodes to a game object node. But I think like good inheritance is fine in Godot. Like, if I look at what a player is to me, right? Like, I pretty much use, I still have my main, player node, but I'll use composition, right? So I have a health component, IK, an equipment system, and this would be no different than having player equipment, attached to the character, only it's on its own node. And then really, there's not much different, right? You're using composition, so you're just exporting, same as like having a serializable field, right? Like the raycast, the equipment, and I'm just get private setting because I'm going to grab it all on start, right? And if you wanted to, you could even do like health. You could do this, right? So if you have it already defined, like in the inspector, as an export property, then it won't do the whole get node or null. But there's no real big performance cost, I don't really think, to going out and grabbing all of these by node path. I've not got on with nodes. I just find it a lot slower to make something than something like Unity or Unreal. But that could just be where I'm not used to it. It's also the fact that it's all broken in hierarchical wise. Yeah, I think that's it's a benefit of Godot, but only when you start kind of when you really get into it and you start breaking it down, you start realizing that there's some bliss in forcing yourself to use a one script per component style system, and it really forces composition by default, for a lot of this stuff. And I'm using for most of the Unforgiven Space project a mixture of both, but a lot of code was one-to-one from Unity, just certain changes to things. Like, you don't need to use, you can connect a lot of your singles, manually. You can still run C# delegates and do a lot of your singling that way, like old school, the way you were doing them before. Godot maps singles very well. Like, so you're still doing, like, if I want to create an event handler for something that I want to trigger, you know what I mean? Like, I can just, where's my, I don't think, am I even calling that from anywhere? Probably not. Not in this project. A lot of this code I just stole from my main project to kind of get the system going. I like it. I like it though. I wish it was. I like that GD script is going to get some form of inheritance like C# has. I'm not sure if it'll be in 4.4. Yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I really wish Godot would focus a bit more on some of the graphical stuff as well. Like, like when you look at the industry, like some of the DX12 and 11 shaders, like meshlets, stuff that's used for obviously in Unreal Land as nanite, but in other engines, right? Just meshlets in general are used really great for generating tons of primitive geometry for landscapes and stuff like that. There's a lot of things missing. Like we don't have any ray tracing. We don't have any like, I don't really care for my own space game. I'm not gonna reach that level of fidelity. So I've already accepted whatever compromise using Godot would be. I'm gonna finish building this thing in Godot. But I hope by the time the game is finished, that there's a lot more cool, like lighting technologies, and we can start using some things other than like DLSS and FSR. I agree. Makes for good screenshots, but spinning the camera around shooting, you aren't going to notice it. How's your game coming along, Red Tango? How's everyone's game coming along? Man, like a month is a long time, man. I'm so curious to see what people are actually working on. Yes, I don't think the replication of I'm working on waiting for 4.4. Okay. Let's see what point. Oh shit, we can't use it. We can't use a zone and a variant as a property of an RPC. Oh yeah, so it's doing it on the server, but not on the client. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't help being like super tired. I have to give it a node reference or a node path. Let's see, can we? You can't send nodes, the IDs are not synced, so you probably won't have the same idea. Just send the node path as a string. Yeah, that's what I thought. But then we'd have to look it up. Right, set zone path to the ship AI zone. But it's only doing it. It'd be nice, but 4.4 would no longer have to install Jolt. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I feel more comfortable playing with it then. Curious if there will be anything like where we had to do. Oh yeah. Oh man, wouldn't that be cool though? That means that if I just do a compile like I normally would, then I would get Jolt in 64-bit as well. And now it disables me. Doesn't put me in them. Same with null. The player zone is not being defined, even though it is. And theoretically, we'll support multi-threading, just not sure how easy it'll be to use. Is that a screenshot of my profit recently? Nice. Yeah, so it does have, like that is the zone that the player is in. And our player would be set at that point. And it's only just the player that's entering it. Player set to that. Let's do a player name. I think you could benefit from that. I think so too. I can't wait to get back into art again. There's a few more technical challenges I would like to finish, but I'm very excited to get back into art. Right? Number one client, the root, is zone set to ship AI zone, but when I do it by path, saying it's null. And it shouldn't be null. Let me just stop being lazy and actually debug it. Oh, I don't have this set up for anything. Okay, hang on. Let's actually get this stuff organized real quick. We can start profiling. Bill 4.3, 4.3, 4.3. Settings. Get rid of this. Sure. Let's launch server. And let's break on that client RPC. Right, so it has the zone. Which is the static body. And we are supposed to be setting this player zone. So this player there's only one player, so it can't be null. There's a zone. So that's now defined. And there we're doing it. And our generated code format name. 2. Right, so after this RPC, the player, who's owned by multiplayer, yep, so the zone has been set, and then on the zone itself, so the zone has the actor zone set. So like these relationships are already set correctly. So now we're finished entering. RPCs are done. I go to the rest of the loop. Step over. Right, look, move, animate, align to gravity. Right, the player node doesn't have an actor zone. So the player is assigned to the zone, but the actor is not assigned to the actor zone. And yeah, so that's the issue right here. working. Boom. Oh man, at least time is making me really good at profiling. Yeah, so when we entered, yeah, because it's not just the how will I do that on the client though? Oh, okay, okay. So we could do player dot actor dot set actor zone. And then we'll do the zone dot. Well, the real player's physical self needs to go to the zone. Then the actor needs to know what that zone's actor zone is. And then that, take care of that. But that we still might not there's still one more thing, and maybe it will work just one like first try, but I don't think so. I think there's one more thing I have to do. Yeah, so I'm still physically. So if we look up, we should see. So their physical bodies, right? So right. So we're not. Both of the physical bodies are in the physics zone, but the non-authoritative actor is not being projected. So we're in the zone, but each of our other actors need to be actually like shown in the world. I think they should be. So what we're doing is the synchronization It's so close to working. Where is my other chat? Yeah, so I don't want to do that. For each of them, we want them to project where they should be. Where authoritatively, the actor so close, just in different planes of existence, so to speak. Hey, how's it going, Rayla? Oh, I'm tired, brother. Yeah, we're not syncing animations. We're pushing the data to the actual actor by authority. And we're not running sync. Actually, yeah, that should be syncing. Maybe player zone. Maybe this is not being defined on all clients. Maybe that's the issue. Is the zone is actually not being set, and that's the issue. Because I only really need it to be happening only really on the server, but we do need to replicate those to the other clients, and we'll just prove pointing it here. Yeah, getting zone, man. Yeah, exactly. I'm like running in space because, science. So the question now is, did that change replicate? Because we know the body went up there on the server where it should be. But do those references exist on the server? So one's player does not have a zone. Two's player does have the zone defined and does have the actor zone defined for that zone. So that's all good. There's no players registered, but that's fine. We're not doing that yet. So you should have an actor. Yeah, so these are good. Yeah, the only thing is the actor zone is private. Let me export it. We could set the actor zone method as an RPC, and that would work. But the client should be able to call that on the player regardless. So anything that's done on the client, the player has authority. But we're only doing it. Yeah, we might have to propagate those changes. So when we are entering, because when we authoritatively teleport the player, like that works no problem. When we set the player zone, we're not doing it to all the instances. Met a new player in SC today, returning after a while, but helped them make like 29K from cargo running. That's awesome. Can I do it to all? Because in that edge case, if we just run the RPC, not to the person we're trying to teleport, but to everyone that we want to notify, including itself, because it's all local. And it doesn't have to be authoritative. You found your glasses? I did find my glasses. I don't know if I want to do it this way, but let's just check. I got it. Boys, we did it. Check it out. I'm running around inside the ship. And it's stable. Ignore the head. Like the IK is totally messed up. And it's funny because the position updates are local to the player and not done with physics. So it's very weird that the jitters that I'm seeing. Because in reality, if we go back to Godot, let me show you, and we take over the cameras, right? The simulation that's occurring right now is static here, but is being rendered, right, in its real representation. And I guess we could technically do we could do that. We could do a reparent. Like, you can't reparent network objects, but these actors, these actors are technically visualizations of a network object. So we could technically run a RPC that would reparent them, and then we'd only have the same position to the actor zone, and then that would actually solve my micro jitters that I'm kind of seeing. Right, and then all weapons and all that stuff would just be occurring inside the simulation. Maybe exit triggers on it as well. But that's so cool. Okay, let's do a test. Let's do a test. Because I still need to. I don't know if I want to do. Because I still think I want to target the other clients. Like, we would set the zone, and we would RPC ID for each of the relevant clients registered with the zone on the server, because we're not doing that yet. We're not like registering the players. We're just setting a player to be in the zone that they're in, because and they're just matched by the same parent. Yeah, so instead of running a generic RPC, I would iterate through each of the affected that have been registered on the server, and then fire those RPCs over to just those clients. It works though, that's cool. So now, more challenging part is we need to set up the way that the zone system works for like ship interiors. So we actually need to have like an exit trigger, and I really want to figure out a way. I wonder, can we do debug colors? Yeah, like can we visibly change collision shape colors? Or would we need to make an add-on for that? Because I would like to be able to create some custom ones to know like what type of collider it is. I could also, like, what the great thing about this in the future is I can go into Blender and pre-bake a lot of these as just, you know, less than 200, you know, face collision shapes. So I'd probably do a lot of my ship interior walls and everything just manually. Because we want to be able to escape it. We'll need to put triggers in to be able to escape. Which wall? Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. One 1.5, 4.5, 1.5, 4.5. Yeah, we want to keep them using the same mesh. Whenever we can get away with using the same data. Oh, chat. I wish I was less tired. And I wonder, should they be in their own container for all exits, or they should just exist? As long as they exist underneath the zone, static body, child, they just function from their parent. Probably. Yeah, I think we will do that. I was tired the whole damn day. Yeah, work has me burned out. Doesn't help game dev. I mean, if there isn't one, I might as well just return at that point. Although we're not really doing anything else. Okay, so let's do public. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because it's the physical players that are actually still in here. So all we have to do is trigger, and then we can do the exit or clear the zone, which is literally going to be the exact same as the as this. Only we're exiting. There has entered a zone exit. We're not worried about checking the zone. Right now. Let's find our player actor. Yeah, because we need to move the player back to the original. Hmm. Yeah, we have to move the player back to wherever the actor was when they entered. And we can actually run a null on this. Hmm. Maybe not though. Actually, yeah, might as well. We'll clear it. So we'll assume that no path can be null, or we'll allow it to be null, just for simplicity right now. So on the exit, move them back to the original actor position. So we're resyncing and then clearing the player zone. And hopefully that should do it. All right, let's give it a go, and then we'll take a break. And I will observe from this player. Cat. No, still not decoupling. Okay, we're not actually triggering the triggers. Because we're not registering. Body entered, and body entered. Trigger the trigger. This will be a very simple implementation, but this implementation will be good enough. Because you're only ever going to be entering or exiting a ship through an airlock right now, or like the rear, so it's the ramp. But if you like run and jump out the ramp while the ship is moving very quickly, that decoupling, you know what I mean? Like you're, you know, you have other problems. Come on, no, come back here. All right, are we in the ship? Alright, I'm gonna exit. Wish me luck. Nope, still not triggering. Zone exit. Get the parent as a zone. Parent zone not found. Did we get that? Parent zone not found. Client ID is moved. Enter parent zone not found. After pound. Do. It was good. One client. It's fine. Okay. Body entered. Body entered. The zone exit. We should be getting that. Zone. Players. Where's collision shapes? They're not disabled though. I mean, I can manually define the parent. Right, because there should be a zone. Right, player entered the zone exit. Oh, that's kind of weird. Parent zone not found for the zone exit. What? This is a zone. And it is definitely a parent. Get parent no or null zone. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. If the zone is null, we didn't find it. This is it. Too tired for game dev. It rains on autopilot when programming anyways. Come on, host. Okay. Join. Alright, come on, baby. Come on. All right, moment of truth. So it's sticking me back in. Oh, because the trigger is sticking me back in, actually. We're actually not clearing the... Yeah. This zone. Hang on. These gotta move out. To like -6. It's the jail and it's the you can't leave. Yeah. See, but this approach, Raylet, if I do it right, will be really great because the server can stack these kind of like side by side for every zone that gets created, like around the player. So I can actually kind of like stack these, and they're kind of isolated, so they're at world origin. This system in itself, I'm going to probably have all this stuff magically happening inside the star, and it means for like very stable inner-ship experience. And it also means I can make the colliders of the ship body much bigger. So bullets and things like that that are happening inside the ship are very stable. Like the only way you'll be able to get out is through those exits. And then on the exterior of the ship, I only need the colliders that represent the. So when you get into the ship, it won't slam you on the ground. Yeah. So in the actor zone for the ship, where is it? Fix. Okay. Yeah, this is like the original stuff. So where is the ship? So this actor zone, we need to make sure that this is being cleared so that the player isn't being put back into the, yeah, which it will be. Because I don't want, like, once the ship kind of whips around, it's scooping up the player again, is what's happening right now. And I can create a delay so when we do an exit, you know, it doesn't immediately pick you back up again, but it's not a big deal. That's all I want to get working today is just want to get in the ship and out of the ship. Like we're not actually like I need to actually take the point at which I enter that zone to warp to, not just like move it to the area, which is what I'm doing now. And I also need to like the second we move them into the zone, we move them into the zone relative to where they were in the world. So like if I'm upside down, I enter that zone, I'm upside down in the zone, and then gravity can kick in and it can auto correct the player. So, but those are minor. They're not like. I just updated Twitch, but now I get an ad. Ugh. Because if I can get this working, finish the inventory system, I'll be really happy with that. No, get in there. No, get in there. No. Okay. Well, anyway, let's exit the ship. Oh, good. I seem to be decoupled from my body. Like I'm not sinking. So it did eject me. But it didn't eject the Los. Looking good. Oh yeah. I'll get it. It just needs some you know, set players on. Mythonet? What do you mean? Mythonet fan on the client. What? For the client is the player, that client. If we have a client. Oh, hang on. Yeah, maybe it can't take null. Yeah, maybe it can't. So we'll do clear player zone and not feed it anything. Then we won't do yeah. Clear the player zone and clear the player active zone. Then don't do this. So we'll just fire clear player zone. So I think the null is messing with it. I don't know if we can send 0. I'm not sure if null is something that can be sent across an RPC. Like null is probably a variant, but it's not picking me up. Perfect. And I'm synced again. Alright, let me do the other player real quick. So if I go that way, yeah, so the spaces from the triggers need to be adjusted. I'm going to take that as a win. It's a good enough implementation, and it's progress, because I need to get some things done, man. Yeah, so we gotta align it, do a few other things, but this will work. And with that, I'm probably gonna end the stream and go raid someone. I know it's pretty short, but I just wanted to get that done. Because all I have to do now is I can literally start nesting these zones, right? And the other thing too is I need the server to load in zones. So I need to have like a dictionary of these different zones, of how they correlate to the ships and the objects that create them. So whenever we we load in the ship, the server will load in the zone and stack it, and we'll have like a zone management system that's responsible for like taking care of all that, and killing off any entities that are no longer like in the game. Boop. I'll be back in Galog in a bit, uniform, to do some more website stuff. But I'm gonna go raid someone. End it here on YouTube.